literally shit comes out, but we just held our ground. We're like, hey, this is literally all the money we have. Take it or leave it. Oh,
All the
Playa
tourism.
Blanca, the swindle island. That
This
came
is the
first.
problem with Colombia. Really quick, it was beautiful, right? I think it's underrated in a lot of ways, but and we did a cooking class with a local, and she was telling us all about this. But basically, the country as a whole has just opened up for tourism in the last 5 years. It's a very dangerous place before that, and so now they're in this weird spot where there's not a lot of legislation around tourism, but there's a lot of slick entrepreneurs taking advantage of...
Slick is a good word.
Slick Rick. He's probably listening to this.
Oh, Slick Rick in Cuba. One day we'll get to that story.
We got to have him on
my
talk about
God.
that. But there's a lot of slick entrepreneurs taking advantage of tourists and the system, and it's pretty bothersome. It was worse than anywhere I've been in the world.
I think all over the Caribbean this has happened to me, and I think they're just used to drunk white people in general, and they have money, so it's just like the Slick Ricks just,
It was interesting because I was in Thailand not long after, and it was unbelievably amazing in terms of people, and like, what do you call people that are like selling stuff on the street?
Vendors.
Vendors, right? Like nobody in Thailand is hassling you. In Colombia, they're throwing stuff at you. They're trying to trick you into buying things. They're touching you. It was like...
Oh, they touch me.
They come up with the free foot massage and start like putting lotion all over your feet. And then... so we go to the beach.
Here,
Start with the taxi.
I think... Okay.
When I made you go down to the dock.
I don't know where you read this, but Henry's like...
Sorry.
Jesus. Henry's like, all right, I think we get to this beach. Like, you could take a taxi, but it'll be expensive. It's a beach, so that means there's water, and we're near water. Let's just take a boat.
I got it in like a travel book, like Lonely Planet or something normal.
I don't know if that's not updated since 1989.
Updated.
But we get there, and it's just a fishing village.
Yeah.
It's like they don't have any white
That was one of the
people around.
gnarliest places I've been. That and that other place I made you go, that like indoor street market that was actually super
yeah,
dangerous.
that was wild.
Yeah.
They were blasting music. It
The
was like
taxi
a
drivers were
trap
like,
house
do
of
not,
a place.
Do not go there.
Yeah,
But
we
we
fucked
did.
that one up.
Okay, but the dock. It was
So-
yeah.
We get to the dock, and I'm like, Belky, I don't know about this. Like, everyone's looking at us like, what the hell are those clowns doing here? Little gringos. We're running around. I don't know what's going on. And you're like, just go ask one of them if we can get to the beach.
Right.
And I go up, and I'm like, hey, guys, like, can we take a boat? Can we take one of your boats? And they like look around like, what the fuck are they? Are they out of their mind? Like, this guy's got like fish over his back. And so they're like, no, you can't take a boat. I don't know where you read that, but you're stupid. Go over there to this little cartel, and they're going to get you the best prices to go to Playa Blanca.
Playa Blanca. Right. And we were calling him. So the problem with being a tourist in this instance, thank God you know Spanish. And we look the way we do, right? Menacing. But everybody's in on something. Everybody's in on something. So we kept calling him OPEC, right? We're like,
Oh, true. I forgot about that.
you'd go up to one boat driver, OPEC being the, it's like the oil cartel, but what does that actually stand for?
Persian? Is Persian
Yeah,
in there?
probably Persian's probably in there somewhere. Something countries. I think the last word is countries. Exporting countries.
We're not going to figure it out.
Product exporting countries. There
That's
it is.
it. All right.
That's what it is. OPEC. But basically, it's like 20 countries that control their output of oil.
Or used to, at least before
Used to,
shale
right,
came in,
and they-
baby.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got these OPEC taxi drivers where one boat's leading you to another because that's a friend. They're going to overcharge you. Or we go up to the taxi drivers and we're talking to one, but then 8 come. And there's nothing you can do when you're OPEC'd like that.
Right. They just pick a price, and they're like, that's the only option because we're all together.
Exactly. So
And we're in the middle of this fishing village with cars just zipping by.
zero
like,
leverage.
there-
Absolutely negative leverage. You could not have less leverage in the world.
There was, I think, our only other option was this like Jeep that was in the shop or something. And they had to put
It
like
was in
tires on
pieces.
it.
They were like, we need to weld seats in and then we'll take you.
Right. We're like, I'll pay the extra 20 pesos or whatever it costs. Everything was in thousands. It's kind of confusing.
Right. So then we get in a cab, and I had been reading a lot about cab culture there. It's pretty gnarly. I'm using gnarly a lot today. But we get in the cab with a fixed price. And then as soon as we get out of the
Yeah, we
city-
got a good price. I think it was like 45 or something. I remember that number. And 45, we're like, oh, that's a pretty good deal. Like, I'm surprised we got that. And then we hear our little, I was going to say Jungle John, our little dude in the front.
Yeah.
He gets on the phone, and I understand a little bit of Spanish, and he's kind of like, heating up. He's basically saying like, oh, did I forget to charge for going through the toll? And then,
so really quick, we've just left the city. There is nowhere you and I can go if we get out of the taxi. We are in a terrible position. Right? And we're going through this toll. And that's when he gets on the phone and he starts fudging the price with his boss.
Right. It's like he's having a fake argument with his boss.
He's just one of these OPEC people.
That's the reason why I say it's fake, is because this is like one of 3 places that people go outside of the city.
Yeah, and he was so unsure about the price to get there.
So basically, it's just this.
You two started yelling at each other. So you're asking him to show you pictures of the rates because he ups the rate as soon as we get out of that toll. He's like, you guys got to pay for the toll. And then you guys start yelling at one another, and he's getting pictures from his fake boss, his friend that has the rates on him. And then you're just going back and forth. You're like, no, you said this, no. And then eventually you told him.
What I remember is he just keeps going up. It goes to like 65, then 85, crazy. And it just keeps going up. And Belky and I were just like, all right, we don't want him to drop us off in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So let's just get there, and then we'll just negotiate once we're there. And worst case scenario, we just fucking run away. Right. And like, what's he gonna do? Leave his car? And
then we get there, and the crawlers just come out.
It's like, you ever watch Walking Dead?
No, but
it's just zombies. It's just zombies coming after you. Yeah. It was wild from like a mile out following the car. That was the introduction to Playa Blanca.
Terrible.
And like it just continued.
So basically we roll up on the beach. The taxi driver's in cahoots with these locals that are going to like take us to the best spot on the beach. He tells them where he's going to drop us off. It's no fun. We're trying to get out of the cab while the driver's yelling at us. We're telling him we're not paying him.
That's where I think never split the difference helps. Because when you start off like, hey, I can't pay that, and then you're like, how can you help me pay for that? Like, we literally don't have the money. And this is honestly kind of true. Like, we didn't have that much cash. And then they'll start coming down, and then eventually you'll say, like, you'll give a little bit. What is the Ackerman model? Is that what it's called?
Ackerman.
Where you go to, like, whatever. You just, percentage-wise, you drop the percentages you change each time. So we started at, like, 45, then maybe we came up to, like, 60, and then 70, and then 75, and then 70. 670, like literally just giving him change at the end, and he's like, all right, well, they're clearly out of money.
Yeah, we were literally giving him like pennies and dimes by the end. And what's important, if we weren't like as combative as we are, like me being like pretty aggressive negotiator, you knowing Spanish, you were like so out of luck. Not you, like if you're a tourist there, you're so
that's why I think it works so well, especially because literally, okay, we get there, that happened. Then you have constant vendors coming by just offering you this silly stuff.
Really quick, they would like, the oyster guy would come by, right? And he'd have an empty oyster shell and he'd throw it at you. Like, oh, here, try my oysters. Then you'd be like, no, I don't want it. But now you're holding it. And then he says, it's empty, you ate it. And now you owe him for the oysters.
You can't do it. The one thing I caved on was the little massage. That wasn't that bad. I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
I like massages. I got another massage too, but that's because I was dying later on in the trip.
Man, we'll get there. We'll get there. So I can't recommend Playa Blanca because while the beach is beautiful, the water is beautiful. Also, if you go in the water, there are jet skis doing like figure eights in the shallow end. They're like about to chop people's heads off.
It's like you give a bunch of kindergartners like a beach, jet skis, and just a lot of rich people coming in, and it's just chaos.
Oh, you remember the hot dog they were dragging on the jet ski? It's like stupid inflatable.
I don't remember that.
Food was great. Oh,
they were trying on just
beach. Yeah. Oh my!
And then they tried to at the end when we were leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't stop.
So then they tried to, let's just link Swindle Island because I'm forgetting a lot of this, but I
just watched it before.
Okay, yeah, they tried to take all of that money from us for giving us, saying one thing, charging us for another.
Basically, like in the beginning, they come in and it's like, it's like 100 pesos or whatever. Let's just keep it simple. And then by the end, they're like, oh, well, we didn't factor in the beach access fee, and then there's the tax for the local government, and then you use the bathroom, like. Literally shit comes out, but we just held our ground. We're like, hey, this is literally all the money we have. Take it or leave it.
It just goes to show you how much they're getting out of people.
Right. And that wasn't all the
because of
money we
fee.
had. We were being strategic about it, but
Right.
we
It
were
was
just like,
scary.
this is the fair
It was.
price.
It was a weird position.
Well,
to be in.
we'd often get into it where we would agree on a price, right? And it happened with the boat leaving too.
Yeah.
We agree
You
on
said,
30.
in Spanish, he said, "Don't fuck with me," and that's when it stopped.
That's where it's good. You just have like one phrase, no me jodas, or something like that. And they're like, all right. So that, they said like 40, we get on and we're like halfway in the boat in the middle of nowhere. And they're like, hey,
Fucking, what,
no, sorry,
Caribbean?
we agreed on 30. And now we're like, no, now it's 40. I'm like, whatever. That was Cartagena for the most part. Kind of crazy stuff all over the place.